Welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video, what I'm actually gonna be doing is I'm gonna be using Python in order to actually create components in basically all of the projects. So I'm gonna be using all of the projects and I'm going to be creating the same components. Imagine that basically you're in that situation. You actually need to um, create the same components for each project, and you would do this manually and it would actually take some time, but not for long. So very first thing that is being defined in here is the list of components that we're actually going to be adding. Authentication, everything is basically the same. You're using the Jira email and the API token. The first thing is to get all of the projects, and that is basically using this API endpoint where you're basically fetching all of the projects. Don't get confused by this because maybe in the documentation it's saying that this endpoint is being deprecated, but still you can still call all of the projects in here. Of course, um, it is using the requests import library, and basically on that it gives the response, and then it returns into the JSON kind of a format, which is basically great. Now you can also get existing components within a project itself, so it goes through all of the projects and actually checks for the components. Now what happens is then with the next function, a new component is being created by the project, but there are some if statements. It basically, if these components are actually existing, they actually are not getting created because it's already in there. And if it's not in there, then it's going to say, well, the component has been actually indeed created. What it also is doing is checking all of the projects in here, going through its name and through its key, and then with that it gives the components for themselves. And then it's saying for some of them component already exists within the project. Now the question is, okay, what happens if I actually run this script? So I'm gonna do with this. All right, so is doing for these projects in here, and it's actually saying create a component, DevOps and everything else. So as you can see, it basically goes through each and for each project in here, and it's actually creating the components. Imagine if you had like 100 projects in Jira and you actually would have to do this manually. Well, it's gonna take less time with this script indeed. So I don't know how many projects do I actually have really, but yeah, it's gonna through this, and let me actually stop the script. Now the first thing in here is checking this project in here that I'm having, and it's saying that this component already exists. So for all of these projects, it already exists. But for example, for human resources, there is one component that exists. So let's go for inventory management, for example. So if I go back in here and I go indeed for inventory management, and for inventory management, I go to the project settings. Within the project settings, I go with the components. There we go. We have the front end, we have the DevOps, and we have the back end. We can also check for another one. For example, IT requests project. So let's go for that one. Okay, IT requests, it's here. Let me go with project settings. Let's go with components. front end, DevOps, backend. And as you can see, the script actually itself, it really works. It's actually easy to implement, and this is how you can really save a lot of time when you're adding multiple components, same components into different projects. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See ya. Bye.